Maharaji has affected me by loving me. And therefore, I love you. It's just a therefore. So this is a meditation you attend to a point in the heart space, in the middle of the chest, and you will say, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. You were, I am ego. And you're going to become the reality of the true self, the capital S. So you're going to start thinking about, I think this is crap. I can do without this, or that's the ego. Because see what I did when Maharaji said, I want you to love everybody, I said, I can't do it, which that meant my ego can't do it. And he just ignored it because he wanted to dance with my soul. Dance with my soul. The soul, we're going to make loving awareness. So think of yourself. Think of your I, me, I. Start with this and go down to this. Start with I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Remember to point at the middle of the chest. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. In the future, you will know yourself as loving awareness. It's, if somebody asks you, say, you're Jack, you don't say, I am loving awareness. Because but you yourself will say, when you walk down the street, when you go into the marketplace, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Now take on that identity instead of the identity you had before. You shift your identity. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. The awareness is yourself. It's not a thing. It is no thing. It's no objective thing. You can't point to awareness. You're aware of your eyes seeing. You're aware of your ears hearing. You're aware of your thoughts as they come out of your mind. So this'll never work. That's a thought. And just label it as a thought. Label thoughts. Label thoughts. This loving awareness is the witness of your incarnation.
However, there are certain things that we are perceiving and are doing in the universe that you and I are both doing that isn't different between you and me. In fact, it's common to everybody that is human. Those are the clingings that determine that we meet on this plane. Specifically, they are the clingings to senses and to thought. Giving you straight Buddhism now. It's not Buddhism, but Buddha talked about it. Because if you weren't attached, like if you sit down and meditate, do a meditative practice, and you start to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and your breath gets quieter and your body gets stiffer, and your thoughts flow by, and you go into the space which exists around the thoughts and in the thoughts, and you get quieter and emptier, pretty soon you notice the senses working, but you're not being the listener or the seer or the smeller or the taster or the feeler. They're just all doing their thing. For example, sometimes when you're reading a book, you get so fascinated with a book, you don't hear something that happens around you. Somebody walks in a room. You didn't plug up your ears. The ears are hearing, but your awareness is not attending to your ears hearing. They are attending to your eyes looking and to your thoughts thinking. Do you understand that? Anybody there? Yeah. Okay. If you could imagine now withdrawing your awareness from your eyes seeing and your ears hearing and your nose smelling and your tongue tasting and your skin feeling. You don't stop them, they're going on, but your awareness is withdrawn. Then what you're left with is your thoughts thinking. And it is now you are ready to withdraw your awareness from your thoughts thinking until thoughts are going by like a river and awareness is. The minute you think, I am aware, that's a thought, that's not awareness. When you have become just awareness, and there is no more you being aware, which is a thought, and you're not clinging to senses or to thoughts, you are no longer here in your body. You have entered into states of samadhi in which your awareness is somewhere else. And in those somewhere else's lies realms and realms and realms of equally valid reality to this reality. You may go on to planes of existence where you meet lots of other beings that don't even live on this plane. The psychic realms, the subtle realms, the astral realms. You may go into planes of existence where there are just patterns of energy or thought forms, like Plato's world of pure ideas, where there isn't even forms of humans. There's no emotional content, there's just ideation. You may go into a realm of awareness where there is no separation. It's what's called the Zeitgeist, the homogeneous white field. It's the one, the ancient one. It's all the same thing. It's just all one stuff, undifferentiated stuff. Each of these is a plane of relative reality which is equally as real as this auditorium is. The reason this auditorium seems so real to you is because of your attachment to your senses and to your thinking mind, and because you hardly ever get a chance to get outside of that attachment, so you hardly ever leave this realm of reality except when you go to sleep and you go into dream states, which you treat as slightly suspect. Although when you're in them, they certainly seem real enough, don't they? Okay. Well, this is another one of them. And you'll awaken from this one too. And you'll say, far out, it was just another dream. Far out. And all the time. But didn't you say that in the dream last night? It's no different. And don't some of your dreams seem to have long time durations? Do you know how long they take? Like that. When people say, my whole life flashed before my eyes, like that. Buddha looked back, and at 1 second he saw his last 99,000 incarnations. Like that. Okay. The mind is working at the rate of 1 trillion thought forms per second, sequentially. And when your awareness is not limited by its subtle attachments and clingings, you can get to the point, as Buddha did, through the depth of the meditative looseness, where he could get outside of time and he could watch every one of those thought forms come into existence, exist, and die. 1 trillion a second? What is the time and space domain of awareness? Awareness has no time and space domain. It can become microscopic, it can become telescopic. Who you are is so vast and so tiny and so all of it, it's absurd. Who you think you are is a very limited situation within a limited range of possible sensations, information, and realities. And what is common to all of us that have taken birth on this plane is that we are all hooked on our senses and our thoughts. Simple as that.
Make yourself quiet. And you will hear or feel feel presence in the moment. And the presence is, for me, Maharaji or any other guru. Merge with that presence. It'll take place in one moment. You go into the moment. To identify with that presence. Now, can you remember that you have inside of you love, compassion, peace, joy? You can have those or be those. Be those. Just be. Just be. Just be. Just be. We are loving awareness. Loving awareness. Everything you experience, you love. Joy is a wonderful one to work with. Feel your joy. Feel the joy of the universe. Joy of nature. Joy of cells. Joy every place you look. everything you feel. And in this moment, joy. Joy in living. Joy in the spirit. Joy in the fact that you have awareness of spirit. Joy in that we can be together. And there's one more thing in the Atman inside you. Wisdom. Subjectively, you know everything in the universe. You know a star. You know it's a tree. It's knowing from inside, knowing from the inside out, the whole universe. Just the stars and the earth. And the atmosphere. And the wind. It's knowing it from inside. You are all of it. You are the one. We are together as the one. Peaceful, loving, joyful, wise. And that's what namaste means. It's namaste to that place in you. Namaste.
So there are a variety of mantras that are used, and all of these can go as deep as you allow them to go. At first you're doing them, and if they're in Hindi or Sanskrit or Tibetan or something, Hebrew, they may be strange to you. But as you work with them, the strangeness is only a thought form, and pretty soon the mantra starts from up in the head, and then pretty soon after you repeat it for a while, it moves down into the throat, so you're hearing yourself. And then it moves slowly, if you allow it, just down into the heart, and it sort of revolves around in the heart. And at first, Jai will tell you about the mantra, and you might think about what it means when you're doing it. But then, once the mantra settles in, all that thought starts to be like little bugs around a lamp in the summertime. Just like, and the lamp gets brighter and quieter and brighter and quieter. And so at first you do the mantra, and if it works, the mantra does you.
The word mantra itself, in Sanskrit, the word manas, which is the root in mantra, manas is mind, and tri or trick is crossing over. So if you just consider that for a moment, it's crossing over, making the crossover from the mind. And that's what this practice is about. In Tibetan, the mantra is known as protection for the mind. So it's tuning into the deeper mind places where the negativity of mind doesn't have an effect. This is a Tibetan Buddhist mantra. It has its roots in the Vajra, or the lineage of Padmasambhava. And very briefly, Padmasambhava is the incarnation of the Buddha that manifested to give the inner teachings, or the tantric teachings. Many of you are probably familiar with the Shakyamuni Buddha giving the Four Noble Truths. But later on, the Buddha manifested to give the sort of more esoteric teachings on the inner levels, about what's going on inside, not just what's going on around karma and such. So this is a very sacred mantra in Tibet and for Tibetan practitioners, because the aspect of Padmasambhava is for Tibetan and Tibetan practitioners very appropriate for this age, for this particular time, or this particular yuga. It has to do with cutting through the very heavy forces or qualities of these times of negativity, of confusion, of doubt, of fear. And so Padmasambhava is known as a very direct sense of protection, or of cutting through.
Another way of hearing that, in terms of what we've been working with yesterday, Om Ahung, you could say Om, all of the universe within itself, which would be awareness. Ah would be immanent, coming into form, be the soul. Hung would be the manifestation. And the Hung is often the manifestation. So the energy of the Hung can be the mind essence, or it can be the manifestation, and that might be felt lower in the body also, around the hara, or right below the navel, because it is a grounding power mantra. And the first time I did it for about 2 days, walking around the stupa in Bodh Gaya, I was like ready to go out and rip open buildings. I mean, with a single glance, I was like souped from it. So you've got to realize these mantras, each mantra has a different tone and a different intent. And this one is for this deep inner work that Jai is talking about, in order to become absolutely grounded and at the same moment very, very spacious.
Om Ahung Vajra Guru Padmasi Om Ahong Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hong. 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 Om Ahong Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Ahom Vajra 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 Guru Padma Siddhi Om. 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 Om Ahom Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Om.
Very tasty mantra.
Like the way those words form on the lips and roll, Om, Ah, Hum. It's beautiful.
It's fun to do it in a temple in Nepal or I'm sure Tibet. I haven't been to Tibet, or Dharamsala, where they'll go on for hours. And they're drinking tea and moving around and doing everything, and yet the mantra's going on. It's just rolling eternally, just on and on and on. It goes deeper and deeper. And watch yourself. You go into it, and then you come out of it, and then you're fidgety, and then you go back in at another level. And if you don't get into a model of how it's supposed to be, you can just ride with all these different play of your mind. And all this is just like breathing in meditation. These are devices to, a focal device to allow you to see the play of the mind. And it's a little centering device, a little place to hang in for a moment in this sea of change before it changes.